Will the Vols have more sacks than they've ever had in their history? Why are we going in this direction? Caleb Calhoun will set us up. First, Cooper, what should people do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Face Coop, what down?
Tennessee Center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
What did Bill Connolly of ESPN have to say about James Pearce, Caleb?
So this was recent. Bill Connolly was talking about different defensive players, and he talked about James Pearce as the edge rusher. And he said, quote, James Pearce might be the best defender in the country after finishing third in the SEC in sacks as a sophomore last year. Talked about how he added 27 stops, 2 forced fumbles, an interception that he returned for a touchdown. And basically, this solidifies what we've been talking about for a while, that James Pearce is transcendently great, one of the greatest all time, and we're hearing talks about him as a number 1 draft pick. So the question then becomes, could he spur Tennessee to setting the record for the most team sacks in school history?
Okay, which leads us to second down, Coop.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Who holds the record?
I believe I actually don't have that one up on me yet. Sorry.
So
but I'm trying to pull it up now.
Okay, so if James Pearce, and let's look at, before we really talk about James Pearce as being one of the elite players, I want to talk about some of the elite players that are out there, because it depends where you stand in terms of exactly what you think about James Pearce. Travis Hunter at Colorado, and we're going to talk a little bit about Colorado here shortly, is one of those. Caleb Downs, who is now at Ohio State, who Ohio State bought away from Alabama, is another one of those. Harold Perkins, linebacker at LSU, is going to be up for the Nagurski Award. The other would be Michael Williams of Georgia. So those would be a couple to keep an eye on in the SEC. How do you think James Pearce stacks up to those guys?
Oh, I think he stacks up incredibly well. One, because many of them are, let's just call it what it is. Somebody like Harold Perkins is going to be playing out of position this year because they're going to be forcing him into middle linebacker again. This is why Brian Kelly, I had him on my coaches who could be on the hot seat at the end of the year, because there's absolutely no reason for Harold Perkins to be middle linebacker. So I think James Pearce will stack up as the best front 7 player at the very least in college football this year.
6'5", 265 pounds. It sounds like the Leonard Little at linebacker test all over to me. Yes.
And the record is, for a team, 50 sacks. They got it in 2000 with Henderson and Hainsworth when Henderson won the Outland Trophy that year.
I thought that was right. Rick Terry Jewelry Design. They want to be your jeweler. Looking for affordable game day jewelry. How about the Fire Opals, the Tennessee traditional, rickterryjewelry.com, rickterryjewelry.com. Nobody makes fantastic jewelry, and nobody Googles. Nobody makes fantastic jewelry like Rick Terry, and nobody Googles quite as fast as the one, the only Caleb Calhoun. What down, Coop?
Tennessee Center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
All right. What player has to have an incredible season at the other defensive end? And I know some people have gotten on to us about whether we're using edge or defensive end, the other edge rusher, whatever you want to call it. Who needs to step up so that the protection is balanced, so you're not able to overcompensate for a James Pearce, and you have to be worried about even the interior guys? Who are some guys that need to step up to help Pearce lead them to that record?
Well, on the other side, and we talked about this last week, but Dominic Bailey and Joshua, we'll get to Joshua. Dominic Bailey and Tyree West, one of them has to emerge. I think Dominic Bailey has to be serviceable. Tyree West needs to emerge into a superstar. He needs to be a star. There's a lot of potential there. I think he could be a very good player. Tyree West is my pick. I think Joshua Josephs does need to step up as a backup.
Well, and Joseph, I think they're going to play on pass rushing situations sometimes on the other side. So if we're strictly talking pass rushing, I will say Josephs has to step up. I'll go different than you. And then the interior guys are a given, right? Look, Amari Thomas has to be Amari Thomas. We didn't give a lot of love to Bryson Easton last year, but those defensive tackles have to continue to make a push. And then the flip side, whether it's Tyree West or whether it's Joshua Josephson in pass rush situations, has to keep the offense balanced and what they protect. What down are we on, Coop?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Okay. So 50 sacks. I'll ask you to make the prediction. Tennessee will have more or less than 50 sacks this year.
They will have more.
How many?
And they may not.
Can you check and see how many they had last year? This seems like a heck of a prediction. 50 sacks is a lot. I mean, that's like an average of like 4.4 per game, Caleb. I mean,
yeah.
And really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2000, did they play one less game?
Yeah, they only played 12 games that year.
Well, no, so Tennessee plays 12 now. Did they play 11 or 12 in 2000?
They played 11, but I counted the bowl game. So
Okay.
that's what it 12.
Gotcha. Okay. So what did they have last year? Do you have that off the top?
They had 41 sacks last year. Now remember this. They didn't get the big. Here's why it's going to be bigger this year. And it may not all come from Pearce. The sacks are as much about the offense as they are the defense. And,
Amen. You beat me to the point.
Yep. And by the way, that's what makes for those who don't know, that's what makes the 2000 team so darn special with those sacks, because Tennessee was playing a freshman quarterback in Casey Clausen half the season. Remember how many tight battles they were locked in, Dave, that year? And they were low scoring, tight battles. Those aren't usually where you rack up sacks. But John Henderson was just that good as a defensive tackle in 2000. And so I think that this year it's more about, because Nico will keep getting leads and they have a generational edge rusher in James Pearce, that's going to speak for itself. But I think Tyree West and Dominic Bailey will be solid on the other side. Joshua Joseph will be great coming off the bench. Other guys will be getting in, and teams will be forced into obvious passing downs and desperately trying to come back. And you will see sacks galore with this. Oh, I didn't even mention, by the way, Arian Carter. He's going to be a sack machine at linebacker.
Yeah, fair enough. By the way, we have an awesome announcement. We have a brand new prize to give away, and it is a mini helmet. It's the orange helmet with the white stripe. And all you have to do is join Hooker's Corner, and that is our August prize. So we'll be giving away in a couple of weeks. And we want to thank our friends at Sports Treasures, carrying over 5 million sports treasures and so much more. Follow on Facebook for the best in sports memorabilia, daily updates, facebook.com. Of course, Sports Treasures TN. Follow them at Sports Treasures TN. You can join Hooker's Corner. If we can put that link in the message board, that would be great. You get increased recruiting information, more interaction with me and Caleb, and also you will have an opportunity to win weekly prizes, which include t-shirts, and our monthly prize, which is an autographed helmet